So the very first
Sure.
thing being, what if government bans Bitcoin? So what if government bans Bitcoin? What happens?
So the government can definitely ban Bitcoin by regulation, right? But it cannot ban Bitcoin by circulation. So what happens is you have the authority as a government to say that what works or what doesn't work, right? The best example I can give is marijuana. In the US, marijuana was illegal and a banned substance for years and decades. But today it is being allowed at a state by state level. And I think around 20 out of the 50 states have marijuana legal, or maybe the number is higher. But it's still viewed as something that's bad, right? It's not viewed as something that's cool by people who don't consume it. I don't consume it, so I don't view it as cool. But think about this, right? About 100 years back, there was liquor prohibition. Liquor was also banned. But how do we think about liquor today? We don't think it's like marijuana, right? Jabki liquor or marijuana is a physical substance that needs to be carried physically in a physical space and is detectable by taste, smell, etc. test. So things like dogs can detect it, or anti-smuggling devices can detect it. It has the risk of breakage, spillage, etc. Imagine all of that is not there with Bitcoin. It's 100% digital. It is 100%, you can self-custody it into a equivalent of a pen drive or an app in your phone. It can be 100% offline unless and until you need to transact it. And unless and until the internet goes down, your Bitcoin nobody can touch. It's the value of whatever is the market value on that day is available to you as long as you have access to the internet. So the only problem with regulation will be that you will not have a on-ramp, off-ramp, which is what we call as on-ramp, off-ramp, which is what everybody knows as exchanges, because you need to at some point bring it back to a fiat or bring fiat into a Bitcoin transaction, which is what your exchanges help you do, right? But there are P2P on-ramp, off-ramps also, what is called as decentralized exchanges. So if you remember, again, you all may be too young for it, Napster used to be a P2P. You had to download MP3s 20 years back. So you either went on sites and you kept searching, or at some point somebody created Napster and said, boss, wait, if Kashish has this song and he's willing to send it to Pranav, then I'm just going to create a platform that allows that exchange, and which is exactly what a decentralized exchange is for Bitcoin or crypto. If you want the money and I want the coin, we can do the swap. And we don't need to have an exchange like ZepPay or CoinDCX or Binance or Coinbase control that for us. And that's again coming from my democratizing theme part of the thesis, right? And which is why also I feel that Bitcoin does not take over the fiat world. I don't see us moving out of a fiat currency at all, for multiple reasons. Like A, all 200 countries of the world can't work on one value chain or one value denominator. B, every government has to be a welfare state also. You can't be anti-welfare, right? Just imagine in our society, we have so many people who can't afford the basics of life, or what we call as social security in the US. If there is everything Bitcoin denominated, the governments will not be able to do welfare schemes.
Exactly.
So we need to have welfare, and we need to have fiat for addressing that welfare need. Otherwise, we will fall into a crack which we cannot climb ourselves out of. So there is a huge use case for fiat also.
Okay, got it. So, like the whole notion of government banning Bitcoin, what I can make out is the way it happened with liquor or marijuana or other recreational drugs, it never actually got banned per se. It use still existed because people found its utility. Also, these were easier to let's say ban compared to a thing like Bitcoin, which is totally digital. Nobody can even touch it. Like it's literally technically impossible for you to ban it. The only thing is regulation, but then uska bhi way around is P2P exchanges. So second,
P2P exchanges, and also I'm saying it's a point of time view, right? A government which bans it today will have to regulate it and allow it at some point of time. Whether it's
Hmm.
2 years later or 20 years later is that government's choice. We can't speak to it, but they have to unban it.
Got it.